In this lesson, we're going to learn how to damage fabric. Alright, so with a character like this, you're probably going to have some holes and things like that in the shirt. And so we want to go ahead and sculpt those in. Now you could go ahead and put that on a new layer if you like, if you want to do that. Or if you want to just go ahead and put it on the main mesh without any layers, what you'll need to do is go ahead and turn off the memory folds layer. And then you can start sculpting on that. And even at this point, you could even start refining some of the wrinkles if you need to add some of those back. Working with layers is a really great way of working inside of ZBrush. It allows you to just separate certain details and things like that. So in our case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on our memory folds again, and I'm actually going to go ahead and create another layer. Because there may be an instance where the damage just isn't something that we want on this shirt. And so you need to make sure that you give it a name. So I'm going to call this damage. And then make sure that record is turned on. The value is set to 1, so that way whenever you're working, you're getting the full effect. Let's go ahead and let's go to our standard brush. And on the standard brush, let's switch this over to drag rect. And then I'm going to choose a new alpha. I'm going to go ahead and use an alpha that you can actually download. If we go to import, we want to go to our ZBrush files, and then you can go to alphas. Okay, actually nope, it's a brush, sorry. So under your brushes here, let's go ahead and try this one more time. Let's load a brush. ZBrush file under brushes. Now these are not going to be in here in the project files folder. Okay, we're not going to redistribute these. These were made and they were put out on different websites for you to download. Okay, and they're free to use. You can use those if you like. There is a README text file in there that you can use to find the links for these different brushes. Okay, so you can go through some of these different wear and tear brushes. I'm going to go ahead and choose wear and tear 1 and open that, and you can see that it kind of gives us this little rip. And you want to use it with a drag rect brush, and you can come in and you can just create just kind of a small little tear. And the really cool thing about this brush is that it creates the tear, but then it also creates the wrinkles that you would see coming off of that tear. Now you could leave it just the way it is, okay, which is totally fine. In this case, you know, that's probably what it's going to look like. There's probably going to be some undergarment or something like that underneath the shirt, and so leaving it like that. Now in areas that might be right up against the skin, so in this case, let's choose a different brush, and you can just continue to load these in. I'm going to use wear and tear 2. It seems to be pretty much the same. Let's choose a different one. Let's go to 3. Okay, so this one's more like a hole. And so if we put this on the shirt sleeve like this, okay, yeah, that looks okay, but it's not going to fit right up against the skin, so you're going to lose some of that detail there. So what we could do is go ahead and grab our move brush. So hit B, M, and V. And again, we're still on our damage layer, okay? And so what we would do is we would have to stop recording of that and then make our movement on that, okay? So turn off record, and then you can go ahead and hide that. Now it's going to get rid of it, okay? Now if you want, you can go ahead and leave it just the way it is, okay? And then make the movement on that layer. So if you want to go ahead and do that, make sure you're hitting record and then move right here on the layer, okay? Which is totally fine. I'm just giving you a couple of different scenarios here on what you may want to do for your own sculpt. So pushing that in to where now the skin is popping through, and we can see that on the shirt. Now you'll want to make some adjustments as you go through this, okay? Just kind of showing that. Okay, so just a couple of different things there. We can come through, we can go back to our brush. Let's load in 4 just to kind of see what that looks like. I believe this one looks more of like a tear with some fabric across it. This one's really cool. So go ahead and drag that across there. And you know, this could be one of those that on the fabric I don't necessarily want to put that up next to the skin. Okay. And I accidentally placed one up there, but that's okay. Okay. and then use your move tool, push that down a little bit to where it goes into the skin. It starts to show up there. Just make some adjustments to that. Okay, you could smooth out those edges a little bit. I don't want to do that too much. Okay, cool. Alright, so just to add a little bit more in there, I'll just kind of show you the rest of these. It's 1 through 4, and then, okay, here's another one. It's kind of like a hole. Probably going to get a few different holes like around the edge, okay, underneath the shirt, toward the bottom. Okay. You kind of want to spread them out. Now, you don't want to go crazy and just start putting holes everywhere, because now she looks like she's been shot several times. So just, you know, be careful, you know, adding in these details. It's very easy to get carried away with some of these. And actually, you know, with that hole there, I probably wouldn't put another one just like it in there. So for some reason, my load brush is not coming back here. Let's see. My menu has popped off there. That's okay, but you kind of get the idea on how to add that in, and you can go through those different brushes, and you want to do that on the back too. Just taking it easy. Now you may want to take one of the slashes. Man, I wish I really could get to those. I'm not sure why I can't. But anyway, there we go. Now it started. So, like with this one here, we could, let's try 6, maybe 7. Or you could just load them all in. So this one looks more like a slash here. This one's really great for like around the edge of the sleeve. So you can kind of create this slash kind of like that. And it really starts to chew up the edges there. Okay, just like that. And so you kind of start to create this distortion on the edge of the sleeves, and so that way they don't look so clean any longer. And these are really great brushes for that. Okay, use these along the borders. Okay, so go through and kind of chew that up a little bit. You can keep some of the edges very clean. The collar is really going to get chewed up in a lot of places, and so you want to come in along the edge of that. Okay, and start to kind of use this brush to chew that up and just kind of change the overall silhouette on the edge of that, so it really looks cool. Kind of gives us this hint of fabric that has just been split apart. Okay, really nice. So go ahead and just continue to do that throughout this. Okay, now a couple of other things that I want to do really quickly around the collar. It looks okay, but we've lost a little bit of the seams in there. And so what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn off record on my damage. And if you want, you can create a new layer on that. But I'm going to actually turn both of these off, and I'm going to put those seams on there, because the seams are actually going to be on the shirt itself, whether it's damaged or not. And so let's go ahead and just use our standard brush. And let's turn off the alpha. Let's make sure we go back to dots. Okay, standard brush. Let's go to our stroke, turn on lazy mouse, step down to 0. Okay, and we have a radius of about 40. And I'm going to take my draw size down. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly go across the edge of the collar. And actually, you know what? Let's take it down just a little bit longer, a little bit further here. Okay. It's okay, but it's just not giving me what I want. I'm going to take my focal shift down, make that a little bit of a harder edge on that. Take that intensity up there. So almost there, just kind of dialing that in. There we go, something like that looks good. So I'll just kind of go around the edge here of the collar, because if you take a look at a t-shirt collar, there's this fabric that's underneath that's being folded and pushed around, and it's built up underneath here. So you just want to make sure that all of that is in there. Okay, perfect. And then if you like, you can come in and start to kind of soften that a little bit. And I'm not sure if we're even up to our highest subdivision level, so that may actually smooth out pretty well on its own without that. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. Okay. And then just a little bit more. You don't want to do this with symmetry turned on because remember we had moved the shirt around without symmetry turned on. And so it's not going to come out exactly the right way. And you can have some variance in the overall pattern of that because this is kind of a tattered shirt. And so some of the fabric may have been lost a little bit, things like that. So let's go to geometry. We're at our highest subdivision level on that, so that's okay. If you want, you can hit Control D on it again and just duplicate that. Or divide it, I'm sorry. And that'll kind of smooth out those edges a little bit. Okay, and then go through with some of those wear and tear brushes and just kind of chew it up a little bit more. But remember, we want to do that on our damage layer. Turn that on and then record. And then we can come through and just start to chew that up a little bit more. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. Kind of start to add some more damage here and there across this shirt. Okay, and then once you're finished with that, in the next lesson what we're going to do is we're going to start working on the pants. So I'll see you then.